Hey there, everyone, and welcome to the Ukestuff channel. One of the things I like doing is occasionally looking at these best ukulele posts that are out there. Now, almost all the time, these are Amazon referral websites. So ultimately, when you click on the link to buy the ukulele from here, they're making income based upon your click. So they get a referral bonus for sending that to you. And they usually have to disclaim that in the article, but they also usually do that later on, and they always represent themselves as being experts in the field. And that can be tricky because some of these are done by individuals, others of them are done by companies that do this, and that's how they make a living. And I suppose that's not a bad thing, but the question becomes, what ukuleles are they recommending to you? What is the advice that they're giving? So let's take a look at this one. This comes from the website bestreviews.com, and here are their 5 choices. And choice number 1 is the Hurricane Concert Ukulele, which I've reviewed on this channel. The second one is the Ola Music Soprano Ukulele Bundle. I do not believe I've reviewed that one on this channel, although I've reviewed similar ones. There is the Donner Concert Ukulele that I've reviewed a Donner, but not that one. The Kami Soprano Ukulele, which I have not reviewed, and the Kala Learn to Play Starter Ukulele Kit. Now let's take a look at each one of these and what they say. Okay, so starting with the Hurricane. So what I'll do is I'll scroll down each one. They say it's top quality, a superb pick in terms of tone and quality, although you'll find yourself tuning it frequently. Now, anytime you see that in an article, be cautious about that because that is true of any new ukulele. Although some types of strings do a better job with tuning than others. So really, that's that's kind of a questionable statement. You could say that about every one of these on this page, I'm pretty sure. Okay, pros: clear and loud sound with a nice tone, excellent quality neck, fretboard, and body. Rosewood fingerboard and bridge provide comfort. Comes with a top-rate case, extra strings, and capo. Cons: requires frequent tunings when you're playing. I like Hurricane a lot. I think they're fine as a first instrument. I would recommend them. But would I say it's the best of the best? The answer is no. If you take a look at my reviews and what I've reviewed, and you can see that at the ukestuff.info website, or ukeguide.info is a shortcut to just reviews, you'll see that Hurricane is there and they get decent reviews, but I wouldn't say they're the best of the best. So that's kind of, questionable there. All right, let's go to the second one, the Ola Music Soprano Ukulele Bundle. Okay. Simple yet solid, despite some sporadic quality issues. So already, why would you encourage a product that has sporadic quality issues, right? This is generally a good quality ukulele for beginners at a great price. It's made from maple. I'm not sure that's true, by the way, with fingerboard and bridge made of rosewood, premium Italian Aquila and Algot strings. I'm not sure if that's true either. Provide high quality sound. A sturdy instrument with a decent sound. Accessories pack includes a strap, picks, and a gig bag. It's not really a gig bag. It's one of those sort of like duffel bag things. Cons: some customers say this option doesn't stay in tune well. Okay, we just saw that in the previous one. That avoid saying that. I mean, it's pointless. You might as well just have an entire article just written about, hey, they're nylon based strings in one way or another, or plastic based strings. They're going to stretch and you're going to have to retune them, especially as they're new. I mean, it's just where it's at. While others point to scattered defects involving the frets, tuning pegs, and other parts of the instrument. So if that's the case, why are you recommending that ukulele if you're basing it off the opinion of others and not what you were sent? Okay, third one, Donner. Great accessories. This option gets high marks for both its sound and the quality of its included accessories kit. Pros: has a smooth sound and nice resonance. High quality instrument made of mahogany. Strings are soft, smooth, and easy to tune. Soft and smooth. Accessory kits include strings, pick, a tuner, strap, and a case. Great look. And I do like these Donners. I really like the DUC1 with the black headstock. I have not reviewed one of those yet. Some buyers report durability issues with the pegs, strings, and other parts of this ukulele. Again, you're basing your cons off of other people's feedback. Kimmy's Soprano ukulele, loud sound. Pros, advanced carbon nylon strings, fluorocarbon strings, provide accurate tone. Now, they will generally, fluorocarbons I find do hold their tuning a little bit faster than the sort of Nile gut technology. Nice loud sound made of durable mahogany. It's laminate. Comes with a beginner's kit that includes a gig bag, tuner strap, and instructions booklet. Good price for a well-made instrument. Some reports this ukulele arriving missing some parts. Some of these models have trouble staying in tune. Seriously, no, that's just, it's not, you're writing a best review and you're giving feedback that is just inaccurate, or it's accurate for all ukuleles, not just those models. That's kind of crazy. And then the Kala Learn to Play Ukulele Starter Kit. Vintage aesthetic, an overall high quality ukulele with a vintage look, although elements of the starter kit underwhelm. Also, some people have taken a look at the Kalas, and apparently some of the entry level models no longer even have kerfing on the inside. And there's a debate on whether or not you need that on a laminate ukulele, but in practice it's normally done. But just so you know, I mean, Kala has taken some steps to sort of cheapen its line. Also, watching a video the other day from Daniel on Fun Ukulele Projects, he was working on a even more expensive Kala than this, customizing it, and was sanding his fretboard and found out that his fretboard was actually a laminate, not a solid fretboard from Kala. Now that could be true throughout the industry. We don't know. We don't have many people that go out and sand and cut into their fretboards very often, but it's just another example of Kala taking some steps to lower the cost for them of their instruments while their price actually does remain pretty high in the marketplace. All right, continuing on. Choice of vintage ukulele styles? Not really. I mean, you just kind of, that's what you get, is that sort of that dark brown vintage look. The strings that come on it are top class. They're the same as most of the others that are on this list, even though the others may not be Aquila. Great sound and stays in tune well. Not any more than any one of these other ones. I mean, seriously. Learn to Play kit includes a tuner, tote bag, and an app. Includes free online lessons, although you can find those on YouTube yourself, not necessarily from Kala, but from any place. Easy to play. Easy to play. No more than any of the others. And what about issues like, what is the action like on the instrument? What's the intonation like? Are there sharp fret ends when you get it? Which, easy to fix, but things that beginners need to know. All right, cons. The quality of the app isn't up to standards that you can find for free on sites such as YouTube. They're talking about the Kala Learn to Play app that anybody can download. Some reports of this option arriving broken, and that's true with most ukuleles. I just recently had a situation where I tried buying an ukulele both on eBay and Amazon, and they all arrived broken from either source, and eventually I just sort of had to give it up. But nonetheless, that happens. Okay, so how we decided. We purchase every product we review with our own funds. We never accept anything from product manufacturers. So that's good. So you know that they're being honest, hopefully, here in saying that, for example, Hurricane isn't sending them an ukulele. Now, I don't have a problem if Hurricane sends them an ukulele, just as long as they would disclose that. I always disclose, hey, this one was sent to me by such and such, so you know that I'm reviewing that. However, they should have in the next line, if you buy one of these from our story, we get paid for that. I mean, so that may not be true that they didn't accept funds, but at the same time, this is a for-profit enterprise here. They considered 30 models. 30 models. 8 hours research. That's not a whole lot of time. To be honest with you, any one of my reviews, I've probably played that instrument 8 hours alone per instrument. And then on top of that, you have the work of the review, the work of getting the review ready and publishing. So that's a very, very small amount of time for 30 models that are considered. 3 experts interviewed. I don't think they tell you who they are. And 135 consumers consulted. How? Is that just reading the reviews off of Amazon? And okay, so I don't know. So that's the part that's a little bit crazy. All right, so buying guide for best ukuleles. They are small four-stringed instruments that are highly portable and easy to learn. Easy to start playing. Learn, master is a lifetime. If you're considering purchasing an ukulele, you should consider what size is right for you and what style suits you, as not all ukuleles look or play the same. Well, that's debatable too, but let's take a look here. We've got a concert, a soprano, a concert, a soprano, and a soprano. So there's no mention of a tenor, there's no mention of a baritone there in their top 5 choices here. So the 4 main types are soprano, concert, tenor, baritone. Yes, the soprano is the most popular size. I'm not sure that that's true. It could potentially be the most sold size because they tend to also be the least expensive, and there's a ton of super cheap sopranos out there. But I think the concert is where most beginners start these days and where most of the packages are. Although you can certainly start at any size. But I even tell people generally, start with a concert, see what you think about it. If you don't think it's too big, you can always move to soprano. If you think it's too small, you can always move to tenor, unless you want to play baritone tuning. So that's where I generally tell people to go. But the concert and tenor are slightly larger, but progressively so. Both tuned to C, not all the time, like the soprano. The largest ukulele size is the baritone, which is tuned to D. That's not true either. It's tuned to G, if you're going to use it that way. Ukuleles are made either of solid wood or plywood covered with wood laminate. No, that's not true. They're made out of solid wood. They're made out of solid top with laminate. You can have HPL, which is layers of paper. You can have plastic. You can have carbon fiber. You can have a mixture. You can have something called ECOA, which is made by Blackbird. So that's oversimplifying it. The type of wood will determine the look, yes, and the sound of the instrument, yes. Although there are laminates that sound great and solids that don't sound great, and is a large determiner in price. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced ukulele player, you should carefully consider what size is right for you, and the only way to do that is to play them. So go to a store and don't buy online, and try soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone and see what you want to do. Otherwise, start with concert. That's what I would say. And continue reading more to learn more about the factors to consider. Okay, so types. We've already talked about soprano. Here they mentioned they could be tuned to D as well. Concert, tenor, and then baritone. And here they get the notes right that it's tuned to D, G, B, E, but it's not D up here as they said before. That'd be G6 tuning. All right, let's see here. Ukulele features to consider: solid wood versus laminate, also solid top. And so this is where like this list is incomplete, and I would put a solid top in there, such as the Acklot concert, the AKC 23, I would put in there. I would put in there the flight travel ukuleles. I'd put one of those in there as well in this price point is a beginner ukulele. Common tone wood, spruce, inexpensive? No, not necessarily. Found on the less expensive solid wood ukuleles. Has a fairly it's very bright and accentuated top end. Spruce tends to be bright, so that's what I'd say more. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily inexpensive. Cedar, since it isn't as dense, it is sensitive to light strumming and plucking, and has excellent harmonics. That's true of any of them. Cedar to me has a warmer tone, and also sort of a different look with that different grain. Mahogany, a rounded top end. I'm not sure that's what I would say too. I'd say it's a darker sound overall, mahogany, and a rich mid-range and a full low end. I'd say that. I don't know about the rounded top end. Sometimes you can lose some top end on mahogany. Not always, but sometimes. And it's more affordable than koa. That's true. Generally found on mid-level uks. Well, you can find very, very high-level mahogany ukuleles too. Koa, a traditional Hawaiian ukulele tone wood, balanced tone with pleasant mid-range and overall warm sound. Yeah, but I find that koa itself brings with brightness. Now, what's missing here? 2 woods for sure that come to mind that are popular. Absolutely acacia, which is not koa, and they should say something about that here. And then also missing is mango, which is quite popular right now. Build quality is important. A poorly made uke is unlikely to stand up to regular use. Well, that's not necessarily true either. Some poorly made ukuleles can stand up to a lot of use, but they just don't sound as good because they're overbuilt or they're overbraced. The wood is too thick. But also poor quality wood can impact too. We recommend looking at the quality of the hardware, such as the bridge and the tuning pegs, because these are often the first things to break on an ukulele of lesser quality. Maybe if the bridge isn't glued down properly, you should take a look at that. There's a whole thing that you should do when you buy an ukulele and just check it over first. I've only had one or two ukuleles where the tuning pegs didn't work. One was a Kala Waterman that Kala was happy to send me an additional set of tuners for, and the other is an absolute horrible ukulele, sawtooth ukulele, and I have not reviewed that one yet. I need to do that. I actually I didn't order, I bought some used Grover ukulele tuners and put those on because one of the tuners actually fell apart completely. So, yeah, the build quality does matter. It matters quite a bit, but just generally looking over the ukulele when it arrives and make sure that it's good, and then buying a well-reviewed ukulele, not just from Best Reviewed, would also be my suggestion. So if you're going to use an article like this, Best Reviews, I would definitely suggest, for example, visiting the Gata Ukulele website or my own website, the Ukestuff website, ukestuff.info or ukeguide.info, or the Ukestuff channel on YouTube, and see what I've reviewed as well to see if that kind of coincides. I know Gata Ukulele doesn't like doing a ton of ukuleles in a similar model, for example, so they won't do he doesn't do very often a soprano concert or tenor because he wants to cover so many things. I'll review anything that I'm available to review. So if I get a soprano concert and tenor of the same brand, just because it's affordable or they're sent to me, I'll review them all. So, but often when you find an ukulele in a series, and if you can find a comparative review of one of those from a reviewer, and you're maybe interested in the tenor, but they're reviewing a concert, generally what someone reviews is going to give you some more feedback on that. Okay, accessories. It's worth thinking about any accessories you might need. Tuner, yeah. Baker case, yeah. Plectrum pick, not necessary, and many of these companies include a plastic one. I've had some disagreements with Barry Mazik got a ukulele about this. Every now and then, you'll kind of have a spicy remark to one of my comments. But in general, plastic picks can be used on an ukulele, but an ukulele generally isn't made to handle that type of strumming with a pick, particularly the wood. Now we've all seen Trigger, Willie Nelson's famous guitar, that he has completely demolished, and they keep reinforcing so that he can keep playing it. And of course, he uses plastic picks. The Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain, some of them use plastic picks. But in general, plastic picks aren't the first thing you'd use. You generally want to try a felt or leather pick first. And then, of course, you are welcome to use a plastic pick, but do be aware that it can cause damage to your ukulele. At the same time, your fingernail can cause damage to your ukulele. An ukulele isn't also as thick as a guitar, the wood on the top itself. In fact, the better ukuleles, I've been told, my friend David Remiger, who is Ukester Brown, he's had some custom ukuleles made. One of the philosophies is an ukulele is right at the fringe edge of being fragile, to the point that if you want the best possible sound out of a custom ukulele, you want it at the point that it almost is so fragile it'll fall apart. I mean, that sounds crazy, but that's the level of resonance and thinness and lightness that you want in one of these instruments. Okay, did you know fret markings are the inlays that help you find the correct finger positions? Yes. And since they didn't add it, almost more important are fret markers on the side so you can see where you're at. All right, ukulele prices. Soprano ukuleles cost from $20, not so much anymore, probably more like $40. You can find some exceptions, to more than $1,000. Yep, and even more than that. I would say you can find great beginner soprano ukuleles and concert ukuleles right for about $50. Concert ukuleles, I think that's about the same. I saw one the other day for $23, and I may review that one eventually, but your general starting price right now for an ukulele kit is around the $50 range and go all up to, I mean, it's the same as Soprano. We wouldn't recommend paying below $60 to $70 if you want a model that will last. That's not true. There are some really decent starter ukuleles. The catch is the idea of ukulele acquisition syndrome, where you want to add more ukuleles to your collection. That is actually kind of true. When you buy one, you start wanting more, and they're affordable enough that you can add more in several price ranges before you even get anywhere close to the entry price of a number of other instruments. In fact, most other instruments. You can have quite a few. I mean, my friend Rich Davis has talked about on YouTube how instead of buying an Enya Nova Pro, their new plastic/carbon fiber ukulele with the middle frets, instead of spending that much money, he would buy several caramels and have an entire collection of ukuleles rather than just one. So, that's again, that's questionable. There is something to be said sometimes for buying an ukulele from an ukulele specialist who will set it up for you, make sure that you get a good one, because buying on Amazon, your ukulele may not be set up and need to be set up, which would adjust the string action, sharp fret ends, unlevel frets, things like that. And then also that you're getting one, and some dealers will even take pictures of the ukulele you're getting, like Mims Ukes. Baritone ukuleles cost a little more due to their larger size. Yeah. Basic models, about $80 up, and can cost up to $3,000. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even shop the high end. But the most expensive ukuleles I've seen probably are between the more beta ukuleles, which are highly customized ukuleles that can sell for more than $10,000, and then some Bruce Petros, which can be around $10,000. Tips: decide if you want an ukulele starter kit. If you're starting off, yes, you do, because you get everything you need. Pick a size of ukulele. Generally, start with concert. To say that concert is too small for large hands isn't quite true. String spacing on the fretboard is probably more important with both of them than it is if you have large hands otherwise. So if you have large hands, I have men's size large hands, but I like playing just normal concerts. But if you have large hands, you may want to look at specifically the measurements of the nut and the string spacing on those ukuleles. So for example, I know like the Islander line, which is imported by Canalea, all those have wide string spacing on the nut. Also recently had a caramel that had a really wide nut for a soprano. Choose what strings you like to use. Okay, that is something you can do after you buy the instrument. I always say try the instrument for a while with the strings that come with it. Then if you don't like them, change to something different. If you started with an Aquila Nilgut, which is a white sort of strings, try clear fluorocarbons instead. And then there's a million other ways that you can go. Consider whether looks matter. I think they do to all of us, right? I recently reviewed a Mitchell that I bought off of eBay for a very low amount of money, brand new, and it had some flaws in it, and I gave it away to one of my students, but it sounded good, but it looked awful. I'd never buy that. I don't think most of you would either, unless you were buying it for like a loaner for a school or a library or something like that you didn't care. But looks do matter. What kind of music can you play? Any kind. Can you plug an ukulele into an amplifier if it has a pickup? What resources are available to help me play the ukulele? There are a billion. I would start on YouTube, and then there's a million places to go from there. Incidentally, if you're starting to play the ukulele and you're interested in learning how to play the ukulele, last summer I created 2 courses, one called GCEAU, the other called DGBEU, where you can get an introductory set, or introductory lesson set to the ukulele, so that when you're done, you can then go to any other resource on the ukulele with strong foundation, and it's totally free. Of course, with this channel, always, if you want to subscribe, I'd welcome you to do that, because that helps me out. Every view helps me out. If you ever want to contribute to the work, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/ukestuff and make a donation there. But anyway, the resources there are all free. I only have one thing right now that's under a paywall, and that is my 4 schools ukulele method that I have organized. Not the content isn't for sale, but the organization is for sale. That's the only thing that I have under a paywall at this point. So again, back to these top picks, just covering them really quickly. The Hurricane, I'm fine with that as a recommendation. to say best of the best, I don't think I would do that. I do like the company. I do like the products. I think it's a fair entry level. Just best of the best, I wouldn't say. Ola Music, best bang for the buck. I don't think I would say that. The review scares me where it has to qualify the review by saying there's been reported problems with these. That kind of scares me. I've been sent an Ola ukulele to review, which I liked just fine, but it was more like the Hurricane that's pictured here. Donners I like. Really no complaints there. I don't have any problem with K-Meese. A couple of years ago, there were some, quality was like this. K-Meese also is owned by the same company that makes Acklot and Horse, and you might want to check out those as well. In fact, I'll mention those in a second. And then Kala is there too. So with the first four, I'm totally in support of the Callas. I generally don't point people towards Callas as a first instrument anymore. You're going to see them in stores, but Calla does sell direct to customers these days and offers a reward system. I don't think that's the greatest for dealers and trying to get people someplace where they can go for support when they don't know what to do if their ukulele breaks or strings break or how to change strings. They can get that support directly from a dealer. But anyway, there are other brands that I would put in this list. I'd put Flight in there with some of its, especially the travel ukuleles as a first ukulele, or the NUC models, for example, that they have. Let's see, other first level entry ukuleles, just off the top of my head, you've got Acklot, and you've got Horse ukuleles that I've been very positive on. And if you're going to look at Kala, definitely look at Ohana as well. Plenty of dealers. And of course, there's the Enya line as well, and you want to keep those in mind. But in general, keep in mind that if you buy from an ukulele specialist, you may pay a little more or the same amount, but you'll get an ukulele that has been looked over, and that's probably always better. But I totally understand buying a first ukulele off of Amazon. The challenge is not just to go off of Amazon reviews, because again, then you get things like down here where for 3 of these ukuleles, they talk about they just have trouble staying in tune, and then one that they say stays in tune. And that's, again, all ukuleles, when you first start tuning them, will kind of go, out of tune. And before we end this video, let's just take a look at the other products that they've considered on this list. And again, if you click on these and you buy it, you're sending money back to the company. Enya, yep, would recommend. Donner, already talked about, would recommend. Martin Smith, don't buy. Poco Maikai, I've got one of those coming up on this channel. I don't think I would start there. K-Meese, fine, as a first ukulele. ADM, I would not buy. Whirlwind, I don't know. Aiko, I don't know. Diamond Head, I would not buy. As for Luna, I sort of have mixed feelings about. A lot of the styling isn't for me, although I do have a Luna Zero Cote, which is a very pretty ukulele, and with different strings sounds much better. Strong Wind, I have not done yet. Let's see, Whirlwind, we've already talked about, I have not done. Pile, I want to do at some point. They are an importer of other companies' things and sells it under their own brand. Strong Wind, I have not reviewed. Diamond Head, I would stay away from. JM Finger, I have not reviewed. Kailua, I have not reviewed. Hansing, I have not reviewed. Oscar Schmidt, there's a great company that's been around for a long time with a very, very wide catalog, but they just don't do much on social media. So you kind of lose track that they're out there, unless they're carried at your local music store. Status Founder have not reviewed. Beistel have not reviewed. On to the next side. Pay Now have not reviewed. Ranch, there's one I forgot to mention. I have really liked the ranches that I've seen. This Ola Music Concert was really good. Lohanu has been around for a while and seems to have good reviews. I know God and Ukulele has reviewed one. I haven't reviewed one yet. At some point I will. Acklot, I think I mentioned that I like a lot. Cordobas make really decent ukuleles. Again, like Kala, probably overpriced for a beginner these days. Mahalos, I would not buy. Winds, I would not buy at this point. Lot Music is actually the Horse, which I like. And that's the same company as Acklot and K-Meese overall. Zemo, I have not reviewed. V Victory, I have not reviewed. Lava does not belong in this list. It's a $400 starting ukulele, just not belong here. Flight 4-string soprano travel, yep, and especially a 2SL. I love the long neck soprano. They also have a concert version and a soprano. Accolade, as I mentioned, I like. Oh Hoo Hoo, I have not reviewed. Horse, I like. Caramels, I really like. I think it's kind of underserved in this list. Music Cube, I have not reviewed. Vorzin, I have reviewed the Vorzin, the plastic one. I don't think I'd put in this list for beginners either. That's an ABS ukulele, kind of singular focus. I think be out of this range for a beginner. Kalena have not reviewed. So that's their list of ukuleles that they've taken a look at. If they purchased all those, they do have quite a bit of money invested in that. So if they've done 30 ukuleles and each one is, let's just say, on average $50. That's a pretty good chunk of change to write this article. However, we don't know if they kept them or in their 8 hours of research to play. And I don't even know how you, I mean, I do know how you tune all those 8 hours. You have to buy a automatic string winder like I have. And then you might be able to unbox them all and tune them up and play them and get a good review. But realistically, 8 hours is not enough time to go through all these ukuleles and come up with a summary like that. Again, thanks for watching the video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more uke stuff for you.